right. Welcome to the episode 1 of USA Cricket Talks. My name is Kailash Jayaraman, and I'm extremely excited to have Nishanth here, my friend, and a person who in the Chicagoland and in fact in the USA cricket arena has made some serious dents. Just to give everybody a background of Nishanth, he is a co-owner of a youth cricket academy, a co-owner of a minor league cricket team, and also has taken several initiatives across Chicago to get the cricket going at a very grassroots level. And this is exactly going to be the objective or the vision or the purpose of this podcast is the seeds of USA cricket has already been sown. And there are many folks like Nishant who have continuing to make a big dent to make this sport the next big thing. So I want to have this opportunity to make sure everybody out there knows what's happening in the cricket when it comes to specifically in the USA and how they see the future of the cricket and their vision, so on and so forth. Having said that, so welcome Nishant.
Hey, thank you, Kailash. Thanks for a decent introduction.
No, it's absolutely. I think out of many people that I know personally in cricket, of course, there are several people who have made some really good dents, and you specifically have been, from what I'm aware of, have been in this arena for a long time, right? And you've kind of really done it at a grassroots level. So it'll be great. There's always a background to everything as to what motivates people to do these things at a grassroots level. So how far do you go back into cricket, like from your childhood? Tell your story from there.
Yeah, so not being modest, but there are a lot more efforts required like this for the game to be popular in the place where we are right now. So I think I have done a little bit from my side, not serious dent like you called out, but my story is that I came here to US in 2008, 2009. I did not possibly get involved in some sort of serious cricket till 2016, 2017. Mm-hmm. My work was more important at that point of time.
Right.
And somewhere around 2016, 2017, possibly I got a little more free to kind of look at what I really like doing. And obviously cricket was on the top most of what I liked all the time. So I looked at ways and means in which I can be first part of the game. Mm-hmm. I started playing for a tennis ball team. Mm-hmm. We lost quite a bit of matches for a couple of years. And then, the competitor in me kind of woke up. Yep. I took steps. I took yearly resolution to say at the end of the year where I should be.
Oh, great.
Be it how I play or what I would do in that year, like form a good team or be part of a team which will be winning trophies rather than losing all the matches. So I had such goals in front of me, and I think since then I have done decently well. I was fortunate enough to get in touch with a lot of cricket related people in Chicago area. While you seek out what you want, obviously there are people that are there and things will try to fall in place on its own. So that's what pretty much happened in each of the venture which I tried to do in cricket. There was a lot of support available, and there are a lot of people who were having similar interests.
Right.
So here I am, and I am happy that it's come this far.
No, absolutely. So, obviously there's always like a lot of childhood background, right? Like all of us, almost every immigrant that we all, who come from a subcontinent has a strong liking, and some have a passion for it. People who follow the sport. People who have passion do something for the sport, right? And you're obviously one of them, right? So what age did you start playing cricket, and did you go to a formal academy to learn, or did you start from a gully cricket? How did that develop?
So gully cricket, maybe I started playing when I was 8, 9.
Okay.
It was amongst the friends in our neighborhood in India. I think you mostly played tennis ball cricket. My grandfather used to be a big cricketer in the small town where we were. He was running a team. He put together people, and it was fun going around with him when he was to play. He was playing at that time.
So it's in your DNA.
Yeah, it is. So I think I went to my first cricket coaching camp formally tell that I have started learning cricket.
Right.
Somewhere maybe when I was 14 or 15 year old.
Okay.
We had some amount of leather ball cricket happening in our town, so I used to play with the adult cricket teams.
Okay, directly all the way.
Yeah,
straight up.
I started playing with them. First, I played tennis ball cricket.
Right. Like when you played the leather ball cricket, you were starting off with the adults.
Yeah, we didn't have the luxury of having under 16, under 17 team in our town. It was a small town, so there are only 2 total adult cricket teams.
Okay.
So it was not that there were a lot of teams playing with each other. It was just maybe 30-35 people who were playing serious cricket at that point of time.
Okay.
Many of them were playing for recreation time. So it was easy to get into the team at that point of time if you had a decent technical stuff. So I was in the team. I used to contribute with both bat and ball.
Okay.
I was then I went for a selection for a under 16 team at a zonal level.
Okay.
Which was they will have in India, in at least in Karnataka, the way the local cricket is set up is that multiple districts together form a zone.
Okay.
So multiple kids from multiple districts would come to the selection for a day.
Okay.
And based on how they do in that, they would be selected in under 16, under 19 teams.
So at that time, I mean, we're obviously going back decades, right? So at that time, how do you folks, like, how would you even know that there is a selection or trials going on? Does it funnel through the academy? Does it come through a newspaper or?
So this was in 1990s. So at least in the place where I was, it was not the academy business that was there at that point of time.
Okay.
So the way the setup is, it was very organized at that time as well. So we had 2 clubs in our town, and each clubs will be sent a notice to say this is the date on which the selections are happening, and so there was a very very organized setup where one of the clubs from the zone will be given responsibility to run this every X number of years, maybe 2 years, 3 years. So there will be a convener for that. That's how they were called.
Okay.
So that club will run all these selection trials.
Okay.
Next election, somebody else will come in and things like that.
Gotcha.
So it was club based. So every adult club would propose names of players who are in that age category to come up for the selection, and we used to go there.
And typically, of course, during those times, did you start from U16, U15, or?
Yeah, U16 was the earliest when I knew that there was selections. Now, I was coming from a small town within Karnataka. If you are in Bangalore, one of the cities, so there was school cricket already then.
Right.
So there was a lot more options for you to be available for being selected as part of a good cricket team. There again, most of these things were run based on club cricket.
Got it.
So even now, if you go to Bangalore, these clubs still exist. So these kids, whichever age group, they still play for these clubs.
Nice.
And then they make it to based on the club cricket performances. They are asked to go to a selection. And then there will be zonal team selections. They will get selected in the zonal team, and based on those, they will make it to the state team. So that's how the
that's a big deal, right? I mean, especially in India, just given the supply of talent, not just now, but going all the way back also, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
even in our days for 16, we used to have 45-50 people come in, traveling a lot of distance for that selection trials, and everybody would want to know the same thing: did I get selected or not? And it's, I don't know how they did at that point of time. Neither do I know right now how do they select. But you know, it's it needed you to be in the right place, right time.
Yeah.
A lot of things to fall in place for you to be selected.
True. I mean that's it's a great point you're mentioning, because you are also a co-founder of one of the uh, pretty large cricket academy in Chicago area, right? CYCA. Now, there is a lot of work that goes into that, right? Especially, and there's a lot of history to it also, and all those things. But kind of just directly going into the point. So, when you became part of the Youth Cricket Academy, what drove you to that initiative, right? Because you also have your adult teams and participate in different tournaments. But what made you take that step towards the Youth Cricket Academies?
I think CYCA was already founded before I came into picture. There was a lot of good amount of work already done by the other partners who are already there. So somewhere in 2022 at the beginning, I was personally more interested in running a minor league cricket team.
Okay.
So somewhere around 2022, when I was trying to see how can I be part of minor league team setup, that's when I kind of got in touch with CYCA.
Got it.
It happened that around the same time my kid also started going to CYCA as his academy.
Right.
So because of that, I got a chance to talk to more people at CYCA, understand what they're doing. I like what they're doing. They were closer to my house as well compared to the earlier academy that I was going with.
Yep.
Plus the drive of me wanting to do something with minor league team operation
Right.
kind of drew me towards CYCA. Mehul was kind enough at that point of time to give me option whether to just collaborate with them just for the minor league team or get involved in the academy and from that way get involved in the minor league team. So
Got it.
it made sense for me at that point of time to pick the later option of going with the academy and then by that way run the team, which I think was a good step looking backwards. I'm happy that I took that. The reason I did that was that I feel one of the challenges that Chicago cricket right now has is if you look at over 2-3 years, the number of people who are there playing cricket remains pretty much constant
Like
in
the
terms of adult cricket.
adult cricket, yeah.
So the way for us to increase the number of people who play cricket, the best way is to catch them young
Yes.
and coach them. And if you look at any of the CYCA kids, I'm sure that you would also feel that way. I have played CYCA kids before I was in academy.
Okay, yeah.
And even though I was their opponent, I always wanted them to do well.
Right.
Which over 2 to 3 years, you see what the results are. So I think that through the academy, in at least the setup that we have in US, I don't see many of the clubs doing the work what clubs in India do in terms of doing the practice, bringing up a young talent, and growing a talent because of the club setup they have.
Right.
So I feel that the academy based setup is possibly a better approach in USA kind of setup, unless there is a lot of changing in the way the clubs start looking at it, because most of the clubs are recreational. They want to win.
Right.
They want to get the best. At least this is how Chicago cricket works. They would possibly, you will see 2 or 3 teams mostly winning most of the tournaments. And
That's one of your team, or?
Unfortunately, not in the last 2 years. But most of the places, what happened is that people want to look at. People do not put enough effort, including me when I put an adult team. I didn't put enough effort to grow the talent within my team. I like picking the best of the players from all the places, putting them together and win. So it's a short-term view of I need to win. But if you look at some of the teams, like we have talked earlier about challengers, like you have heard, some of them really do a good job in growing talent over years. for them it's a long term game and not a okay I need to win this year type of thing.
Yeah.
So it's
like
always
CSK.
yeah, I don't know, but yeah. So the way I am looking at it is that academy business is the best way possibly to bring up better cricketers and
Yeah.
have a long term view in terms of spreading the game.
Because it's a pretty huge mammoth task, responsibility, right? Because there's always, when you run a youth academy, there's always a set of, if I just generically categorize folks who play for recreation, right? And folks, I'm going to say folks, youths, as well as kind of teenagers who have that talent, right? But obviously for all of us, we know the cricket in this country is in its infancy, right? So to help them take that next step, right, there has to be an ecosystem of things that are being built, that should be built, and many such academies are coming all across the country, right, especially in the big cities, many youth tournaments happening, and all kudos to many great people who do that kind of work, right? So from your perspective, what is right now I would say, let's pick the top 2 challenges you see for youth cricket, not agnostic of Chicago or any city, but just as a country, as a nation, as a sport. What do you think it would be? It is.
I think it would differ from region to region. Example, if you look at areas like Dallas, Houston, because of the weather they are in, the challenges they have are different as compared to the challenges a kid in Chicago has. For example, we in Chicago get 6 to 7 months of outdoor cricket. Our infrastructure of cricket is not at the level of the infrastructure of cricket that is there in Houston and Dallas areas. Again, it's possible to have such infrastructure because of the weather,
right?
But even then, I think we have a long way to go in terms of infrastructure. So if you look at Chicago, if you stick to what challenges cricket in Chicago has, compared to you're not going to just get a Chicago team and make them play for US. They need to compete with players from these other places where they get to play maybe 10 months of cricket. They get to play on turf wickets. So that makes a lot of difference. So I would say people in I would say as the primary issue right now with people from Chicago, that do we have the infrastructure to support the kind where we make the players competitive enough with players from other areas? I would say no.
So when we say infrastructure, especially for Midwest, right, it's a fairly cold place, limited time to play cricket. A lot of it goes towards indoor cricket, right? And of course, you get the 5-6 months of playing outdoors. So when it comes to indoor cricket, talk about your indoor cricket facility. What is it about? How many lanes you got? What type of astroturfs and things like that?
So the facility we have right now at Lake Zurich, at the MVP field house, there are 8 full-sized cricket lanes, which is I think about 120 feet each.
It's almost a full run-up for a youth.
It's a full run-up for a youth cricket and maybe a decent medium pace bowler, adult in the adult cricket also. So originally we had all the 8 with AstroTurf pitches, which is similar to what you find in Chicago cricket normally. But throughout US, there has been a push to get to a turf pitch or a hybrid turf kind of a pitch setup, where the bounce is totally different compared to a regular AstroTurf.
So just for folks who don't necessarily understand the technicalities of these pitches, we have 3 types, let's say AstroTurf, hybrid, and a turf. Key differences between this and why kids should play more on hybrid and turf compared to Astro.
So all the international cricket is played on turf pitches. The bounce on a AstroTurf is way different than a bounce on a turf pitch. The bounce on the AstroTurf, depending on the quality of the carpet, will be spongy, will stop, the ball when delivered will stop and come to you. Whereas and the bounce is very predictable. So the person who is batting knows if the ball pitches at one place, I can without doubt go across and hit it. When you get into turf, the bounce varies. So this is the difference between cricket and baseball. So in baseball, the pitcher just throws the ball at you. You know for sure based on the throw. Maybe if you cover the swing, you hit it. But in cricket, there are other variables that are involved, which is you are pitching the ball depending on where the ball lands, depending on how the ball lands, the ball may take a deviation differently coming at you. The skill set that is required for a player in an astroturf is way different than the skill set that are required in a turf pitch.
So how many such turf pitches or hybrid outdoor do we have in Chicago right now?
So right now, hybrid. So just before I get to that, hybrid is something which is between astroturf and turf.
What does it mean?
It's so the way the turf pitches are prepared. Typically, there is no concrete at the bottom.
Okay.
AstroTurf is you put concrete and then you put a carpet on it. In hybrid, they put a layer of concrete, and there is a special carpet that is put on it. Now that carpet has fiberglass or long glass kind of protrusions out of that. And then what they recommend is you put clay on that. So the intent here is that by putting the clay, you are making the experience closer to what a regular turf pitch would do.
Okay.
But because there is concrete at the bottom, it still behaves somewhere closer to AstroTurf as against the turf pitch. So at a very high level, I'm not technical, but at a very high level, that's the difference.
No, that's good to know, because I think it matters. Like to what you've been saying is that we need more hybrid and turf pitches. And obviously, the maintenance of the story all differs based on weather conditions and all those good things as well. But right now, does anyone have any plans to make a turf pitch, a cricket pitch in the Chicago area?
So this was before I got actively involved in cricket. I think Bolingbrook Premier League in Bolingbrook had a turf wicket.
Okay.
I don't know where they stopped maintaining it, but I know as late as 2021 there was a minor league cricket that was run on a turf pitch there.
Okay.
So again, it's the economics. Does it make sense to maintain turf pitch? How many matches happen there? I mean, everybody who is doing that would consider something like that. But that is one turf pitch that I'm aware of.
Right.
Now, there are no matches played there since I think 2021 on the turf pitch.
Okay.
Other than that, at CYCF in the South Elgin ground, we have a hybrid that we laid last year.
Okay.
So last year, we started playing on this year, 2023, when the first set of matches were played. We have played many local league matches and minor league matches there.
Okay.
There is a ground in Barrington that also has hybrid pitch now. So that was laid late this year. So I'm guessing that it will be ready to play from next year.
And these are like initiatives by the park districts?
No, unfortunately, these are all right now initiatives taken by individual groups.
Okay.
Where somebody would put up their hand and say they like cricket, they see that this is the way to go forward, and they say, okay, I will put money from my pocket and we'll make this available for whoever is interested to come there and play. I think local leagues rent that ground out.
I'm talking about how many such local leagues exist in Chicago? Like just the big ones, the popular ones. I know there's a lot, but ones that stand out or where you participate.
Yeah, many of the local leagues are my friends. I am at the risk of not leaving something out. I think we have Kaso Cricket League. Midwest Cricket League, which I believe is the oldest one.
Okay.
In the Chicago area, we had American Cricket Conference. they have not conducted matches last year, but they also have been there for quite long.
Okay.
There is United Cricket League, which typically happens in Skokie. A friend of mine runs that as well. There is a
Abbott, there's one Abbott, right?
there is an Abbott which runs in the Abbott ground. That has been, I have played there too. There is something that is started in South Barrington by Barrington Cricket Club. So
That's like
these
six-
are some of the
six at
things
the
I
top
know.
of your head. Yeah.
Again, these are all Leather Ball Cricket League. Sorry, I forgot Bolingbroke Premier League,
Right, yes.
which has also been there and
Yep.
which is quite popular down south from where we live.
Right.
But these are the few I have heard
So
about
good 7
from the
big ones that and
leather ball cricket.
leather ball, and they typically play white ball cricket, not red ball cricket.
It's a combination of white and red. So I know both Midwest and Caso Cricket offer both red and white.
Okay.
I think some of them possibly offer only white ball cricket. There are few of them who offer tournaments on weekdays also.
Okay.
So it's
So
it's all
weekdays,
combination.
late in the evening under the lights.
Yes, so we have grounds. The Skokie ground has a makeshift lights.
So which
Hanover
of
Park
these
has-
tournaments?
United Cricket League runs their tournament in the nights in Skokie ground with
Okay.
that makeshift lights. ACC used to run the night tournament in Glendale Heights. Caso and Midwest, both of them run
Because
their
not
tournament.
many people know this. I mean, unless you are in the cricket circuit,
Yeah.
right? Not many people know this, and I think it's a good summer evening pastime. To go and watch a night cricket under the lights.
Yeah, Hanover Park Cricket ground does draw some amount of crowd.
Okay.
But the biggest crowd I have seen is in Glendale Heights ground. The
Okay.
ground is smaller and there is a lot of South Asian community around that area. Unfortunately, there are no matches that have happened last year there. But I feel that's one of the ground where I have seen the biggest crowd in
Right.
Chicago area.
So it's more the subcontinent folks, right? The South Asian folks.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's still a South Asian game at this
Dominated,
point of
right
time.
now,
There
yeah.
is a lot of support coming in from different park districts over the last 2-3 years, who have helped lay down cricket pitches in their respective park district.
Right.
Looking at the changing demographics of most of these cities,
Right.
where there is a lot of inflow of South Asian population, but still, it's not a American game yet.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's right. So folks like you, I mean, you guys do a lot of work on this, right? So diversity is one of the most important thing for a sport to become popular, right? Like just like soccer, how soccer was done here, or pickleball. I'm just taking a guess here, but those are some of the two sports which are not like super mainstream sports like baseball and football, but they did have a very grassroots level approach from school, and diversity helped them, right, take that sport to a mainstream level, right? So what are there initiatives? Oh, let's talk at a macro level, right? Just at you as a country, and then let's come to Chicago. Do you see diversity coming into the sport in the recent future?
I think there are definitely few kids here and there, even when we go and look around right now, who are not possibly having South Asian heritage who are playing this sport, but I would say it's few here and there.
Yeah.
It's not much, but I think if the sport really needs to grow, possibly that's one thing that we need to tap in.
Yeah.
But I believe there is a lot of work to be done, even with the South Asian population, to get the game further.
Yeah.
So if just as an example, Schaumburg Park District put a pitch last year, noticing that there is a lot of demand. Buffalo Grove Park District put a pitch 2 years before.
Right.
Again, it was based on the demand.
Right.
Vernon Hills Township, there was a lot of push to get the cricket pitch in. So they put it this year.
So the Vernon one, that's an AstroTurf, or
It's all these are AstroTurf,
AstroTurf.
because the challenge is that anything which is not AstroTurf needs a lot of maintenance, and I don't think the park districts are right now geared up to maintain the turf pitches that way.
It's the cost as well as the know-how, right, and the consistency of the maintenance that is needed, right? Because I'm not sure, but I think it does require a reasonable amount of knowledge and skill to maintain an AstroTurf, turf or hybrid pitch. From my understanding.
I think we have had long conversations with the Vernon Township team, explaining why possibly putting a hybrid pitch there may be of importance for the game as compared to a AstroTurf pitch. But I think people want to take smaller steps at the beginning.
Yeah, fair.
Which I would not complain, because
It's
it's a start.
It's a start.
So I think it's a combination of lack of know-how and how much would I be able to, what will I be able to do with this?
Right, because I think the way I'm looking at this whole story is that there's definitely a great benefit if an individual or a group of individuals buy a ground, make a pitch, right? That's one thing for sure. For the sake of the popularity of the sport, or to get it to a next level and diversity, etc., it'll having the park districts and the villages, right, take that initiative with the consensus of the local community, right, will kind of be like a moonshot. It's a smaller moonshot, I should say, right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
But I believe there are enough resources that are available. For example, there are many park districts which have multiple use fields that they have got.
Okay.
So what that means is that they use the same field for baseball, they use the same field for football and multiple sports.
Got it.
So possibly the easier way for somebody to check, okay, is this something I want to do, is possibly getting into reusing one of those multiple use fields into a cricket pitch and partly renting it out. And once they see the usage or rental of that coming in, they see a business case as to why I need to be putting this in. So it may not be just for, okay, let me grow the game. It may be, okay, I have a good income flow from this as compared to how other sports are using that field.
True.
Maybe that's a business case that needs to be put in front
there's
of
definitely an invest to divest in the beginning, but at the end of the day, there has to be revenue coming in for many different reasons. So all your teams, they play just cricket, just season ball cricket, or they play tennis ball cricket as well?
So
how many teams do you have, by the way? I want to know this because I see you in so many different T-shirts.
Yeah, so I have All Stars cricket team, which is what we started 2018.
Okay.
I have Midwest Stars cricket team, which we started in 2021.
Okay.
Those are the teams that I actually kind of own. I play in other teams for tennis ball cricket. We used to play tennis ball cricket earlier in All Stars brand. Okay. But after a couple of years, I kind of moved away from that because it was becoming too much to manage both the tennis ball cricket and leather ball cricket. Right. So I started having the teams in leather ball cricket and play personally with my friends in other teams tennis ball cricket.
So you used to fund the whole story, like form a team, manage it, make sure the roster availability, all those fun things.
Yeah, roster availability is the most fun thing, as you know. So yes.
You do have like pool of how many players do you have in your roster? Average.
In 2023, we had a total of 90 players to play.
Holy cow.
And
90 players in your roster?
Same, not in the roster, I would say, but 90 players played. Two tournaments.
So let me make this clear. So 90 different individuals have played in this year, 23, at least one game.
Correct. And
across two tournaments.
For All Stars or Midwest Stars cricket team. And same thing last year also. So getting the best 11 on the ground and keeping it competitive and making sure they are all there and they are all playing with the same intent has been the biggest challenge. But
Because at the end of the team sport, you have to be used to playing with each other, know each other's skills, and all
Yeah,
this good
the
stuff.
challenge is, that's possible because that many number of people have played.
Right.
Possibly is the reason we have not won any championship last 2 years. We have made it to finals. We have made
So-
it. Getting to semi-finals is possibly easier. I think out of 4 tournaments played in the last 2 years, we have made it to finals of 2,
Okay.
semi-finals of 1, and quarterfinals of another.
Not
Now,
bad.
this was we played only 4 tournaments across, actually 6 tournaments across 2 years, but the year before when
How many
COVID-
WhatsApp groups do you have? For
One for
just
each.
for one for each.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, but 2020 we won 4 tournaments.
Nice.
2021 we won 2 tournaments. We played in 9 tournaments.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah, it's a lot of
So that's taking your weekdays and of course your weekends as well, right?
yeah. So we stopped playing tape ball cricket 2 years before.
Okay.
When we were playing tape ball cricket, it used to be throughout the year. All the weekends are
Right.
pretty much gone. But I stopped tape ball cricket 2 years before because it was becoming a little too much. So now I'm comparatively free on during winters
Okay.
because there is no outdoor cricket that's happening.
So which ones are these? So
Yeah, so I
2021.
I got the 2 trophies that we
mean
won
the-
last.
You
which
have
was in
many, but
2021.
these two mean the most to you.
No, these are the recent ones.
Recent ones, okay. Yeah,
Which
right.
is 2021,
21.
unfortunately.
Okay.
I did have runners trophy from 2022. I didn't get them here
Okay.
because I don't
Pretty
like
massive
losing.
ones, like the big golf trophies.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
They're pretty big.
So-
the chess trophies, like the big ones.
In the we do now. This is my team. Now there is a league we conduct in tennis ball cricket, the Chicago Premier Cricket League.
Okay.
One of the selling points that we say is that ours is the most rewarding league.
Okay.
Um,
In terms
we-
of prize money.
in terms of prize money and the awards that goes along with that.
Okay.
So what we do is we are the only league which provide man of the match for each league match throughout the tournament. So
Okay.
for example, in our main league, we conducted close to 350 matches in 2023 alone.
Wow.
So we had
350 matches?
yeah, so we had 4 T20 tournaments throughout the summer, and yeah,
insane.
that's the kind
That's
of
insane.
yeah,
That's
that's
insane.
so we have a good bunch
And
of
you
people.
and so what's your role in that? You founded that? Or you
So
managed that?
me
What was it?
and 2 of my other friends together, we came together to form. It's a non-profit, the Chicago Premier Cricket League. Another friend of us joined, so we are 4 of us now working on that. We kind of get the people excited with our social media posts and things like that. We put a lot of encouragement for different teams. We have our own website for that, so it's a lot of fun during summer. And like I said, our hashtag is beat the best.
Beat the best. But
Yeah.
talking about risk and reward, the minor league, Chicago Tigers, right? Tell me more about that. When was it founded? What's the pool of ownership looks like in terms of people? How old is the whole minor league story? Just give us a high level overview to begin with.
Yeah, so the minor league team is owned by the same group that owns Chicago Youth Cricket Academy, along with one of the investors from Houston. So we got an opportunity to pick up the ownership in 2022. ACE, which is the body that runs major league and minor league
What does it
cricket in
stand
US.
for?
It's American Cricket Enterprises.
Okay.
They are in contract with US Cricket to run the major league and minor league cricket.
So is ACE affiliated? Is part of USA Cricket or affiliated with USA Cricket? How does it? What's the relationship
It's a
there?
separate profit making body,
Okay.
which is in contract with US Cricket to run the 2020 side of cricket.
T20s. Okay.
T20.
So minor league is all about T20 cricket.
Yeah, so the original idea was that ACE would run major league cricket,
Okay.
which right now has 6 teams, and there is plan to expand it further.
Yes.
And they set up minor league as a feeder system to these
It's a
major
gateway
league
to the
teams.
like very similar
Yeah.
to baseball.
So
Is that how it works?
they want
Kind
no. Yeah, I mean,
Minor league, major
it's
league.
called minor league, major league in baseball parlance, but this is little different. So what happened was that for you to have competitive 8 teams to be played at USA level competition, which is major league, ACE wanted to support the improvement of local teams. So we have, I think, 27 minor league teams, which have lot of players who have come from different countries, who have played first class there, who are some of them who have been international players there, who have relocated to US with the long term view of being here and being able to contribute to the growth of cricket in US. So these players are all spread in these 27 minor league teams.
Okay.
They
So
play
how-
against each other.
So how many such international professional players are there? I mean, there are 27 teams, but I'm just just give a intelligent guess.
So I don't want to give wrong information, but in 2022, when we got into minor league cricket, each team were allowed to have 2 marquee players.
Okay.
So what this meant was these marquee players were the players who were contracted with the ACE. We were free to utilize them as players plus somebody who can help coach in our academy.
Got it.
So we
Okay.
had 2. So just roughly
Okay.
27 teams. I would say there may be 55, 60
Not bad.
people at least
That's-
at that point of
that's
time.
a pretty
Again,
decent-
I don't know the exact
Yeah.
numbers and how the structure is, but
Right.
that's the amount of
So
people
that's
that
very
came.
interesting. See, we right now have in this country like 50 plus professional cricketers who are pursuing cricket for themselves, obviously, and also can help the youth, kind of like
Yeah.
bring the next generation into the story, right? That's how.
That's
great.
that was the idea. Plus, we already had a lot of players from other countries that have come here.
Right.
Players from Pakistan who
Yes.
are here.
From Caribbean, yeah.
Players for Caribbean
Yeah.
here who had academies here, who
Right.
had cricketing interest here, who used to come and visit different locations. Example, Florida, when US
Right.
Open happens,
Yeah.
a lot of players come there. When Houston Open happens, a lot of players come there. So there was already a lot of short-term player interest in US
Right.
earlier
So they
because
basically
of the
visit
money
here
that
for the tournament, finish the
yeah
tournament,
for
go
a
back.
weekend.
Yeah.
Now with these many people coming in and minor league setup being there, minor league also has some of these rules where we can bring in an international player
Okay.
beyond these 50 whom we are talking about.
Got it.
So-
So you have the 2 marquee.
We had 2 marquee
Okay.
and we could get 1 wild card player as they call it.
Okay.
So we had big name players like I think Roman Powell. He played minor league that year. The guy from West Indies. I know Tejnar and Chandrapal played.
His son.
No, Shivnar and
Shivnarayan
Chandrapal is the dad.
Yeah.
Tejnar and
He's the
Chandrapal
son.
is the son.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he played.
Yeah.
I think Carlos Brett.
Oh, Carlo got it, right? Okay.
No, not Brett. Dinesh Ramdin I know played.
Okay.
There is another guy who is the off spinner right now. I'm not getting his name, but there were a lot of such names who came in and played. There are people from South Africa who came and settled. Corey Anderson.
Right.
I missed that name.
Yep.
He missed. Unmukh Chand, who
Unmukh
played
Chand.
under 19
Yep.
for
I
India. He
saw him
was
in an
there.
ad too in a GM or Ford GM.
Toyota.
Toyota.
Because they were the sponsors of
Yeah.
minor league last year.
Okay.
So yeah, there are a lot of names like that. Harmeet Singh, who was again under 19 India player, he
Okay.
came and played. He played here. He was Seattle last year. This year he was with the Texas
This
team.
is great.
So there are a lot of.
So it's very typical, right, of US. Like, I mean, it's a great model that has always worked in other industries as well. For this country, is that especially when you take
Immigrants coming here.
yeah, countries like India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, South Africa, all those nations. There's a huge supply of great talent, right? And there's a very small. It's getting bigger, of course, but then the spill. All I'm trying to say is, it's a great opportunity for this country to tap the talent from there to kind of build the foundation and the base to help them take the next level.
Sure.
And also provide a career pathway for them also, obviously. Is there enough reward for them to pursue this full time, or do they also have other jobs that they pursue to
So
obviously?
the players in minor league, whenever they are playing,
Yeah.
are supposed to be paid for their time they are playing the minor league game. I know many of these players who play in local leagues, they also get paid. So I would say yes, there is a source of income, but I know many of these, their only source of income is this, what comes from cricket. So I know people who go and coach in academies and get some revenues from there.
Yeah.
They go and play different tournaments. Like some of them flew to Dubai for a tournament. Some
Okay.
of them go and play other local tournaments. Some of
Right.
them are on a payroll with some of the
Academy.
bigger investors in
Right.
Texas area. So there are all
lot
different sort of people.
Yeah.
But yes, I would say there are a good number of people who can say that they are in US and their livelihood is dependent on them playing cricket.
That's great. So there is a pathway, right, for them and for the future.
Yes.
Future folks. That's
Yes,
great.
there is something that is developing, and I think with Major League Cricket coming in, it was a big boost to that, because people could see that local players who have played US were also having major league contracts, which means they're getting paid to play major league, which is a 2 or 3 week event that happened last year.
Yeah. It was a big hit.
2023, it was a big hit. So I think that's a good way to get things started.
It had some good viewership. The matches were great.
Yeah.
Great quality matches.
And a very good
the production that I watched it on TV.
Yeah.
I felt like watching IPL or something equivalent. Pretty close.
Yeah,
Very close.
the director for Major League Cricket, Justin, he was directing minor league cricket last year.
Okay.
He has experience in IPL, so
Great.
he has done it earlier.
Makes sense.
And I'm sure they have
could
put the right
definitely-
people there to make sure that there is a lot of mileage that can be gathered from that.
It was great. All the matches were great. The quality of the game was very competitive. The crowd was great. Right, it was good fun watching that.
It's a really good stadium. If you've gone there, if you're not, you should definitely visit when you're in Dallas
In
area.
fact, many people back home, like in India and other places, it was very surprising for them to like just realize that, oh my God, there's like an IPL equivalent that's been happening here. And of course, we have the next World Cup, T20 World Cup, where USA is going to co-host with West Indies, right? And that's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that in 2024.
And USA is playing.
Yeah, we qualify based on us being the host.
Yeah.
So does West Indies. So it would be fun to see. We have matches in, I believe, Dallas, and New York, and possibly, I don't know, LA or Seattle. I'm not sure about the third location. There were 3 locations that were called out.
Amazing. It's going to be packed.
Yep.
It's going to be packed.
Everywhere.
Yeah, no doubt.
There is also talk about India-Pakistan match being in New York. So we'll have to see.
Perfect place for that.
Long Island is where they have...
It'll be great fun.
It was supposed to be happening in Bronx, I believe, but then the latest I hear is they're doing something in Long Island with the support of the local government. So it would be good for
ICC definitely has got some reach if they want to. I mean, that's great. That's great for the country, right? So, but so when it comes to managing a team like minor league, right? What's the fun part? What are the challenges in the last 2 years? And how have they been doing, right?
Yeah, we did really well in 2022, which was our debut year. We made it to playoff. I don't think many of our opponents or supporters in Chicago expected us to go that far, but the boys did really well. we made it to playoff. We took the previous year's champions to third game. It was a best of three playoff set format in 2022. So we took them to the third game in that. So we won even a playoff game, which was pretty big deal.
Who's the captain of your team?
Calvin Savage.
Savage.
Yeah, he was in terrific form with both bat and ball in the 2022 season, which obviously rightly had him get picked in the second round from Major League. By Texas Super Kings. 2020.
I'm a big fan of him.
Yeah.
He's pretty chill.
I knew that was the reason you asked the question.
Yeah.
So 2023, the story has been slightly different. We didn't have Calvin and Cody, who is our wild card pick, for a couple of games, which kind of proved costly. We just won. It was a shortened season. 2023, we just had 10 matches. We won the first match and we won the last match. We want to forget everything in between because we lost everything else.
All's well that ends well.
So, so we are looking forward for 2024. We are expecting certain rules to be dropped from minor league cricket in terms of what your team composition can be and things like that. So, we are really looking forward to that one.
So when does that happen? When does the minor league start?
Minor league typically starts in June, July time frame.
And that's televised?
Many of the matches are televised.
Which channel typically does that?
It comes on Willow Cricket, or they have a YouTube channel on which many of the matches are there.
So for 24, what's your plan? Have you guys started making a plan?
Not yet. Like I said,
I'm asking because I'm obviously rooting for the home team. So
so
how do we get there?
Usually what happens is our core has not changed across the last 2 years. It has largely remained the same. We anticipate, we strongly believe that we want to have the local cricketers in the Chicago team. It would not be like we will get 10-15 players from different places and make them play for Chicago. So our focus will continue to be the same. But having said that, minor league allows you to involve international players. Minor league allows you to involve handful of non-local cricketers also per rules. So we are eagerly waiting for their rules as to what those rules and restrictions would be, because what we have seen is, like we talked earlier, the local cricket talent is not at a place where we can really feel confident that we will be competitive on our own or we can win it all based on that. So we want to encourage local cricket, but we also want to make sure that our cricket team is competitive. So we want to be able to make sure that we utilize the rules that are set properly.
So at this point, when you say local cricketers, so if you just categorize between local cricketers and youth cricketers, right? So is there how is MLC doing that part, the youth cricket part, right?
Yeah, so minor league has specific rules which says, for example, in 2022, we had a rule that you could use in your playing 11, you have to have one under 21 player and one under 19 player. In 2023, they had a rule which said that in the playing 11, you need to have at least 2 under 21 players. So there are rules like this. You can have more than that on your roster, which is a roster of 18. But playing 11, they set rules to say how many of them can be there. That is how minor league is encouraging the minor league teams to encourage local, not local necessarily, but youth cricketers to be part of the setup.
So, you just opened up a whole bunch of topics and we can keep going on for hours. So definitely we're going to be talking again as well. But, it's just exciting about the fact that there is a pathway, right? And there are many smart, passionate people who are working all across the country to plant the seeds and water it and take care of it and etc. So what are your goals? You said in the beginning that you make goals. cricket related goals. So what's your goal for 24? You got like 2 more weeks.
I
to
have
think
next
for
2
that.
more weeks to
Yeah.
work on it.
Yeah.
But I think category by category for Tigers, I think we want to be competitive definitely, compared to what we did in 2023. Um, Now, what level we need to go will totally depend on how we look and set the team together. So we are a little away from that, but that's the first thing. From the academy side, we are opening our Naperville chapter, so that's going to be a
Congrats.
big, yeah,
It's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal. We are going to get started in February, so we would. The facility here at
Lake Zurich.
Lake Zurich has taken a couple of years to kind of settle where it is right now. We are hoping that we would have a head start in Naperville because there is a lot of interest already in the local crowd there.
Great.
So we are hoping that there'll be a lot more people coming at that facility. So that's something to look forward to. Other than that, in terms of our academy teams, how they do in different areas. Example, how they do in MLC Junior Championship, how they do in hub events, how many of them possibly get selected to zonal team, Midwest zonal teams for under 15, 17, 19, 23.
Right.
I think there are all possible things that could happen there. So every year we would want to do something better than what we did last year.
Man, I'm just overwhelmed, because there's truly a lot happening, right? So, and this is just not just in Chicago, but all across, right? And we are going to talk to more people who are involved in these kind of efforts, right? And at some point, when USA lifts their World Cup, these folks, remember, have planted the seeds, right? So we will get more people to talk about everything that's happening all across the country, ask very simple, basic questions, because our goal is to make sure that we have the information, a high level, level 1 type information before we start getting into the details of what exactly is happening everywhere, right? I hope you all found this useful, insightful, and looking forward to meet you all again with a different guest and different topics, but the same goal of USA Cricket. Thank you. Thank you, Nishant.
Thanks,
Take
Kailash.
care.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot for making it.